everyone. Welcome to Sacred Space Practices. My name is Tracy Griffiths, and I'm the creator of Aroma Yoga, which is a synergy of yoga practices, energy exercises, and of course, Young Living essential oils. Those are the only oils that we use. This week, we're focusing on our theme, finding a seat. And before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the essential oils that we're using today. So Elemi, I picked Elemi because it's not very widely known. Maybe you use it all the time. This is a great essential oil for grounding and calming. It's from the frankincense and the myrrh family. And so if you've got your Elemi handy and you want to put a little bit wherever you feel like you need to settle, where do you need to settle in your seat? I love Elemi. It's very unusual. It almost smells like a cross between frankincense and dill. And so we use it a lot of times how you would use frankincense. So I'm feeling like I could use a little calming in my neck, maybe the bottoms of your feet, maybe your lower back. The other essential oil that I'm using today is grounding. So finding a seat, that just makes sense to me. Grounding is a wonderful blend of many tree oils, juniper and white fir and spruce and pine and cedarwood, with ylang ylang and angelica. So I've got grounding going on in my two diffusers today. And so I'd also recommend putting some grounding on a cotton pad. So go ahead and do that. You'll have it handy for our practice. So finding a seat, that's what we're focusing on today. And before we got started, I was talking to Ed, and he said one of the most important things about finding your seat for meditation is to be free of distractions. How can we sit? How can we sit well if we're distracted with, say, a tight hip joint or a tight pelvis area? So today I'm going to show you a pelvis balancing sequence so we can get into our seat with hopefully as free as distractions as possible. So the props that you're going to need today are, I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see my whole setup here. You'll need a blanket folded, or some towels, that's for later. Also a long blanket, we're going to use this for our setup later. And if you have maybe a big book or a block, if you want to use that for later, you're welcome to. I just wanted to show that to you. So folding your mat halfway and then folding it over so the flat side is going to be where your back goes. So that's where we're going to start. On our backs, with your knees bent, we're going to go ahead and lay back, and you've got your essential oil pad handy. I put grounding on mine, so whatever you've got there. Bending your knees, we call this constructive rest. We've been here many times in our sacred space practices, and just feeling the release of your lower back. Feel the release of your belly, the organs of your belly. And go ahead and just let yourself take in that amazing scent of your grounding through your nose. And then release and let go. And let your jaw open on this next one. The jaw and the pelvis are interrelated. They're reflexes of each other. So go ahead and do that again. And this time on your exhale, let's exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale. 2 more times. That sound is so inviting for relaxation. Inhale. Let it go. And this last one, breathe in. What is your intention for today as we practice? Inhale. And let it go. Good. So keeping your legs bent, extend your right leg out, keep your left knee in, and draw your right foot in toward your body, bending your right knee, and then just bring your right knee into your chest as you extend your left leg out. And we're just going to be gentle with this, seeing if you can be connected to the right side of the body, the right hip, noticing what you notice in your hips right now, like your before picture. Breathing in. Exhale, let it go. Good. Slide your left foot in towards your lower body, bending your left knee. Cross your right foot over your left, so you're making the figure 4. Draw both legs in towards your body and just feel that right hip socket. Notice how that feels. And if it's available for you, bring your clasped hands underneath your left thigh, drawing in just a little more. And see if you can balance the points of your hips that are on the floor. That's your sacrum. And see if you're swaying from one side to the other. That's okay. You can sway a little bit and then find your center as you draw in your bent knee toward your chest. Inhale deeply. And then release and let it go. Those sighs are so helpful for your nervous system. Good. And then release your left foot down to the floor. Unhook your leg. Extend your right leg out. And then just wiggle that right leg back and forth. Just making a little more space in that right hip. Good. Draw both knees up towards, so your feet are on the floor. Excellent. And then extend your right leg out all the way and bring your left knee in towards your chest. And just hang out here for a few breaths. And you're probably going to feel a different sensation from your right to your left. That's perfectly normal. We are asymmetrical in many ways. So I know my left hip does not feel at all like my right hip. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. One more. Inhale. Exhale, release. Now draw your right foot in towards your body so your knee is bent. Cross your left foot over your right knee. Keep that foot flexed back. That will protect your knee. And you can hang out here for a moment in your figure 4 with a breath. And if it's available to you, just like we did on the other side, draw both legs in towards your body. Place your right clasped hands underneath your right thigh. And see if you can draw your legs in closer toward your body. And notice that left hip. Notice that left side. And breathe. So when we have a distraction in any part of our body, it's not easy to sit well. So my focus today, as you know, is balancing the pelvis. Very important, our base for sitting. Good. One more breath in. Exhale, release. And then gently release your foot to the ground, both feet on the ground. Extend both legs out all the way. And then draw your toes towards your head and then point them down towards away from you. So we're going to do this heel rocking back and forth, back and forth. And your whole body will just cover some territory on your floor. It feels good. It's like this little undulation, and it's a signal that you can be fluidic in your body. Even though we're strengthening muscles, it's also good to be fluidic. We'll do a couple more heel rocks and then just stop and just notice how you feel. Did your shoulders come up towards your ears? Can you snuggle your shoulders down a little bit? Good. Okay, now bend both feet, both knees, so your feet are drawn towards your body. Good. Now raise your pelvis up towards the ceiling and put most of the weight in your right heel and swing, keeping your pelvis nice and flat. Swing your whole pelvis over to the right side and then gently lower it down. And just keep that pressure in the right foot and just hold it there. Very, very gentle. We're creating a new patterning in our pelvis. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale, release. And now raise your pelvis up back towards the center and then gently drop your pelvis back down towards the floor, unfurling your lower back, making some space there. Good. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So lift your pelvis up towards the ceiling and then swing, keeping your pelvis nice and level, swing it over to the left, place it down on the floor, and keep pressing into your left foot. Keep engaging there. The right side of the body is nice and relaxed. The left side has a little more engagement. Just keep pressing, breathing, noticing, breathing in your essential oil. So good. And then release the left foot. Press both feet into the floor. Bring your pelvis up towards the ceiling, back to center, release and let go. Good. Okay, so just notice what's going on in there. These are very subtle moves that can create so much space in your pelvic bowl. Excellent. So now, let's see. Let's do both legs all the way out. And this is why I wanted you to have this floor. Now, draw your right knee in toward your chest, keeping your foot on the floor. So it's dragging. So I'll do that again. Drag that right foot in toward your body. Let your right knee drop over to the right, and then let your foot come all the way down. So we're just going to make these very slow, intentional hip circles using the floor to keep connected to. So I'll say it again, drawing your right foot in up towards the center line. Let your right knee drop towards the right, and then let your right knee come down, meeting your right foot to the left. We'll do that one more time. Drawing that left foot up. Let your right knee go to the right, and then let it come down. Good. So let's do the same thing, but in opposite direction. So use your toes to point your toe out to the side. Draw your right knee up, and then bring your knee towards the center, and then let your right foot come back down. So again, start with your right toe pointed out to the right. Draw your right knee in with your knee bent. Bring your right knee in towards the center line, and then slide your foot, making contact with the floor all the way down. Last one. Right toes to the right. Draw your knee up, and then bring your knee to the center and keep your foot flat on the floor as you go down. Good. So now let's do the left leg. So keeping your heel, the left heel on the floor, slide, keeping that contact, slide that left foot in, drop your knee gently over to the left, keeping contact with your foot, and just let your foot come all the way down to meet your right foot. That's one. Let's do two more. Pointing your left toe, sliding your whole left foot onto the floor. Drop your knee to the left. Let your left foot come all the way down to meet your right foot. Last one, pointing your left toe, full contact of that left foot onto the floor. Let your left knee drop to the side, and then slide your foot all the way down to meet your left. Good. And now we just do that same thing in reverse. Start with your left toe pointing away. Draw your left knee in, up to the side. Let your left knee come into the center line, and let your left foot come all the way down to meet your right. We'll do that two more times. Have your left toe out to the left. Bring your left knee into the side. Bring your left knee into the center. Draw the left foot down to meet your right foot. Last one. Aim your left toe out. Bring your left knee up. Draw your left knee in towards the center, and then come down. Excellent. Now let's do those heel rocks again. So you're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then release. One more thing we're going to do. Draw your feet in towards your bottom again. Lift your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Like we did before, swing your pelvis over to the right and let it come down. And then extend your left leg. Keep your foot flexed, Bring your right knee in towards your chest, and we're just going to do a little twist from here. So bring your right knee over the center line, and then look over at your right hand and just release into this twist. This will help open up the lower back. Take a breath. I like to say, give yourself a breath. Give yourself a breath. One more. And now bring your right knee in towards your center and then extend it down. Good. And you may feel like you're a little crooked here, so bring your feet back in and center your pelvis once again. Good. So now you're centered. Again, lift your hips off the floor, swing your hips over to the left, place your pelvis down to the floor, extend your right knee. On your inhale, bring your knee towards your chest. On your exhale, release, let your knee drop over to the right for a gentle twist. Left arm extended, looking over at your left hand. Breathing, releasing, breathing, and releasing. Good. Bring both arms out like a T. Swing your feet, your knees, so you're back to center. Place both feet on the floor. Bring your right arm up over your head. Roll over to the right side and push yourself up. Good. Hope everyone's doing pretty well. So let's get our props now. So you can be sitting on many different surfaces. If you like something harder, you can sit up on a block. As Rodney and Colleen said on Monday, that will give you more feedback. Now, if that doesn't feel good for you, you could even put a blanket over your block. That's what I'm going to do. A little extra cushion with the feedback. And then you want to have your rolled up towel or blanket. So find that comfortable place. We don't want to have any distractions as we come into this seated pose. And cross your legs so the opposite leg that you don't normally put over is crossed over. So I usually do right over left. So if you're like me, you'll have your left leg in front and then grab your prop. And this just rolls around and supports you at your knees. This is a great way to keep yourself engaged comfortably. I need to take a little moment here to have my grounding. Okay, so now this is one of the best tricks I've ever learned practicing yoga to help you find your seat. You're going to pull the flesh of your buttocks away from your sit bones, and now you most likely have a feeling of contact of those bones at your pelvis, the ischial tuberosity. So feel that connection of those bones on your seat. And just swing over to the left, swing over to the right, and just find that connection that's just right. So find that, oh, there I am, I'm balanced. And now lean forward and lean back, lean forward and lean back, and then find that just right place where you feel that you are being supported. Good. All right. So sometimes in my meditation, I like to imagine that my feet, even though they're not totally touching the ground, they're still grounded to the earth. So if your feet are on the floor, imagine that they're connected to the earth. You've got this awareness of lifting your torso and your side waist up. Remember Tadasana, where we're standing here in mountain pose? We want to have that same feeling as we're sitting. We want to have this elongation in our spine that's natural. You can find the natural curve of your lower back. You can find the natural curve of your spine. And as you do that, start imagining the center line of your body through your spinal cord. Good. Okay, we're getting there. So now imagine from the top of your head, you have a line drawing up towards the heavens above, and that would not pull your chin up. It wouldn't keep your chin down. It would be just about even with the floor, maybe even tucked in a tiny little bit. Good, good. So how are you feeling here? Do you feel like you can be suspended for a little while? That's the point of finding a seat and sitting well, where you're not using a lot of effort. There's not a lot of distraction in your body, so you can stay grounded and centered and calm. Good. So if you want to close your eyes here, you can. You can have your palms face up if you feel like you need more energy from your surroundings. If you feel like you need more grounding, you can bring your palms down towards your thighs. And I wanted to just share this one last thing with you in these wild times that we're in, that our practice of meditation in this time is no longer a luxury. It's absolutely necessary for us to spend a bit of time each day, even if it's 2 or 3 or 5 minutes. The consistency of spending even a brief time in communion with source energy, whatever you want to call that, allows us to understand and to have a connection and a reflection of the truth of who you are. So as we end our practice today, just contemplate on that, sitting well without distraction, so that you can be in the truth of who you are and stand your ground with an open heart, with love and compassion for all of the creatures, all of the people. Good. Thank you so much for joining me today. I could go on and on. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with our sacred space practices with Young Living.